everybody, this is Libby with WootRecruit. So I want to welcome you back to our channel, and we want to talk about recruiting in January. In our previous videos, we talked about recruiting through the holidays and in December. What can you expect and how can you be proactive and prepare? But we want to talk about how can you be proactive in January? What can you expect? This happens every January, and we kind of don't really realize it until we're in it, and we're like, oh my God, what's going on? So we're going to get into it. But first, again, we're WootRecruit, and we are your go-to for the high turnover industry. So if you're in cleaning, residential or commercial, lawn care, landscaping, construction, roofing. So if you're in that high turnover service-based industry and you're looking to grow and scale your business, we're here to help. Stay tuned as we explore recruiting in January. So guys, it's January, and what can we expect? So again, I'm Libby, and I had gotten into a few things in December about the holidays, and if you stuck it through, what can you expect, and how to be proactive. And I want to talk about a topic in January. And this is only going to be true for a particular industry. So this is only going to be true for industries that are a lower revenue per employee. So what does that mean? So that means it's an employee that generates a lower revenue versus a garage door installer or an HVAC employee or technician, where they could generate hundreds of thousands of dollars per employee versus a cleaning tech or a mow tech or a server. So this is only going to be true for the lower revenue generating employees. So what are those? Well, it's retail. So it's also food service, so restaurants, fast food. It's hospitality, so we're looking at hotels. And it's also home services, so cleaning, residential cleaning is also in that one. Home health is in that one as well. So what can we expect? Well, believe it or not, what we can expect is tax return season. And so how can that affect our recruiting? So, tax return season is between January and April of every year. And typically we're going to see the impact at the very beginning, mainly just through January. And what can we see impact us, or how can that affect us? Well, we're going to see the effect of higher no-shows, lower commitments, more people quitting or walking out the door if they were a non-committed employee. So I want to get into some things that we can expect to see, and then also what can we do to be proactive and kind of help or prevent this from happening. So let's get into it. So tax return season, right? Potential employees could be focused on their personal finances. So, if they get a large tax return check back, you could see a higher no-show rate or a lower apply rate. So we're going to see it really affect our recruiting, but particularly in these industries that I just named, right? It's a lower revenue per technician. And why is that? Well, because they're going to be less motivated or less interested in finding a job in this moment. So, whether it's going to affect us somewhere, we just don't know if it's going to be on the apply rate or the show rate, or even if they're not accepting the offer. But we're really going to see that impact because their financial situations will change for a short window of time. And so, during tax return season, some individuals will receive a significant amount of money, which will temporarily reduce the urgency for a job or the urgency to keep a job. So, potential candidates, the desire can drop, and it'll affect our show rate. And we really have to think about, it'll also affect the people who are currently employed with us. So if it's someone who's already got one foot out the door or disgruntled employee, if they get a $5,000 or $10,000 check, they could potentially quit or leave if our job wasn't such a great job anyways, or we didn't see eye to eye. So, I had talked about in another presentation, the Great Resignation. The Great Resignation is over, but the effects of it are not. And what does that mean? Well, that means that what happened through COVID and the Great Resignation was it conditioned people to get used to quitting. So we're still going to see the same amount of quitting going on that we saw during the Great Resignation. And because what happened was it got us used to quitting jobs. It got people used to job hopping or job changing, where it was that old American dream of you grow up, you go to school, you get a good job, you keep it, you save your money and you retire is kind of over. We don't think that way anymore. Whether you're a business owner or you're an employee, you don't think that right? It's not the norm. And so, because the options are exponential, there's so many options to make money. So we could also see a higher quit rate right now during January with employees that weren't as committed. So the other thing we could see that is also going to coincide with this is seasonal affective disorder. You're like, what is that, Libby? So it's SAD. So during tax return season, this coincides with the winter months, which some individuals can experience seasonal affective disorder, which is a type of depression that relates to seasonal changes. So some potential applicants will be less motivated to seek employment during the winter months. Right? The holidays are over. Maybe I got a little tax return money back, not feeling that motivated anyways because it's cold outside, I'm feeling down. So we're going to see that impacted as well, right? They kind of all coincide. And, with these videos, I'm not here to demotivate you. I'm here to help you be proactive and plan, because these things, if you've been in business, they happen every year. We just kind of wonder like, why is my Indeed more expensive? Or why is my show rate dropping right now? And here with WootRecruit, we have the data to kind of watch this, and we've seen it year over year. And again, remember, this is mainly for industries that have a lower revenue per employee. And so, those are the things we can expect to experience. And how can we now be proactive? What can we do to really help increase our show rate, to increase our apply rate, to keep our current employees? So one thing we can do is emphasize financial stability. So really highlight financial stability or the stability of your job or your company in your ad or in the interview or during the onboarding. Highlight it. Make sure you include it everywhere. How stable the company is. How long has the company been around? How financially stable the job is. Make sure to really talk about this and highlight it. Because at the end of the day, everybody loves stability. And then we also want to be flexible. Why do we want to be flexible right now? Well, if we're struggling with show rates or apply rates, we want to attract some people that are currently employed. So we want to make sure we have interview times that work well for people that are currently employed. So take a look at your interview times. What times may work for me or my other company, Organize It, may not work for someone in Phoenix or California or Michigan. So take a look at your interview, your slots, and make sure that your no-show rate isn't contributed to something like traffic is horrible by my office at 10 a.m. because there's a middle school right around the corner. Or if I just did the interviews at 9 instead of 10, traffic is like 30 minutes less. So one of our favorite interview times at Organize It, my service company, because again, I don't just own WootRecruit, I own a service company, is 12 o'clock noon. A lot of people who are currently employed come on their lunch break. And we also interview every single day, weekday. So if they're employed, they have different days, different shifts, they can come. It's convenient. So take a look at that. Offer some flexibility in your interview time. Therefore, if that doesn't work for them, hey, give our office a call. No problem. Because there are still people that want to work. We just have to make sure that our options work with them. And then offer some tax assistance. And this is a great idea. Offer some tax assistance within your company to your current employees. Some people have never gotten like a $5,000 or $10,000 check in their hand and they don't know how to act. They don't know what to do with it. It could cause people to leave. It could cause people to be emotional. So it could cause relationship issues. So offer some tax assistance within your company. Super easy tip is to, like, maybe in a Facebook group, on your Facebook profile, put out there that you're looking for someone to help with some internal tax assistance for your current employees. And they would be probably happy to do it because they're going to get some people working with them to file their personal taxes. So this would help them budget the money, invest the money, manage the money. Therefore, the company is showing interest to the applicant's future or to the employee's future, so that they stick around. You're offering some assistance. And then we want to make sure that we follow up, engage, and have some quick responses to these candidates. So what is follow up? Well, follow up means if someone applies, let's follow up. Like, follow up with that person. Don't just let the automations do the work. Engage in between the automations. If you need to hire, send them a video of, like, hey, take a look at Winter doing her amazing work. Hey, look at Bob over here doing this great job. A day in the life of a tech. And engage. Send them a video about the company. Introduce them to the office staff. We can't wait to meet you. Engage with them, because we're all going to be competing over the same pool of candidates, because all of us in these high turnover industries with the lower revenue per technician are all going to be going through the same thing at the same time. So we're going to all be competing over the same people. So the fastest person will be the person that comes out on top. And so I'm not telling you to be like irrational or too quick, but I'm telling you to be organized and be ready so that you can be fast. And then we want to make sure we have the follow-up, quick response, right? Respond as quick as you can to the job, to applicants, whether it's they haven't scheduled an interview, bother them, engage to another level, guys. Respond fast. It's not just follow-up, it's fast follow-up. There's a difference, right? I could follow up a week later, but fast follow-up is engaging the same day, within hours or minutes of when an applicant applies to your job. Knock them off their socks. Tell them, oh my God, like, wow, I've never engaged with a company that wants to work with me so bad. Because we tend to give all of our attention to our customers, but very little to our, to potential applicants or even employees. And then lastly is, nurture the candidates. And this is a big one. Nurture your candidates, whether they were qualified, whether they passed, they didn't pass, whether they scheduled an interview or not. Who cares? Nurture them. Because they may not have been qualified for your job right now. Maybe they didn't show up for an interview. Maybe they didn't schedule an interview. But it doesn't matter, because whether they were qualified or not today, a week from today, or a year, whether they reapply or not, they could be qualified later. So nurture them, because if they got that $5,000 or $10,000 check, that money's going to run out fast. And in 3 weeks or a month or 2 months, they may be qualified for your job. Life changes. Maybe their kids aged into school. Maybe now they have a car. Maybe they have child assistance. Maybe they moved and they lived closer. So they can qualify later. So it's so important to nurture your candidates, whether they're qualified or not for your job. Nurture them, because one day they will be qualified. And we never know when that is. And so it's so important to make sure that we nurture our candidates through this process, because one day they'll reapply and we may need to hire them. One day they could be a good fit for our job. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it was insightful. Again, my name is Libby DeLucian. I am with WootRecruit. We are your go-to recruiters for the high turnover industry, such as cleaning, lawn care, landscaping, roofing, construction, anything service-based. We're here to help you grow and scale your business so you can succeed.